Dear valued customer, would you like to discover a shortcut to be a highly successful internet marketer even faster? If so, pay close attention to this very limited special offer. You'll only see this once. First off, thanks so much for purchasing the guide that will teach you all the skills you need to be a highly successful internet marketer. If you follow the step-by-step guide, you will be heading straight to that goal. But what if you can do it even faster? And what if you could ensure that you get the absolute best results possible and stay focused? In short, making sure that this is a real success. The good news is, you can. For a limited time, you can get access to the video upgrade to the guide you just purchased at a big discount. This powerful upgrade will make it easier to get started and stay committed to your ultimate goal. Just to be clear, this is an exclusive upgrade for customers only. Why you need to upgrade to the video version of the Internet Marketer's Toolkit Guide. Did you know that most people learn a lot faster when they see something being done on video than by just reading about it? That's because most people out there are visual learners. How do you normally learn the best? Although the guide you just purchased gives you a step-by-step approach to become a highly successful internet marketer, but many of the internet marketer's hacks require you to pay very close attention to the details to get the best results possible. If you miss any of the most important details or do things the wrong way, you may miss out on the fullest benefits offered inside the guide. For that very reason, I've put together a video version to make it much easier to get positive results quickly. The video version of the guide you just purchased will help you avoid missing any important key details that you might miss by only reading the guide. Stay focused and accountable, and follow through, and make sure you get ongoing results. Ensure that the work you put in now keeps on giving you benefits long into the future. Introducing the Internet Marketer's Toolkit video course. Are you ready to learn all the skills you need to be a highly successful internet marketer a lot faster? If the answer is yes, click the link below. Of course, you're probably wondering how much this is going to cost, right? First off, cost is the wrong word. This upgrade is an investment that will pay for itself many times over. And the good news is, right now you can upgrade and lock in a massive 75% discount. This is the next best thing to having an internet marketing expert right beside you, showing you how it's done. Not only will you avoid many of the most common mistakes that people make when trying to become a highly successful internet marketer, you'll notice immediate positive results in your achievements. And it's about to get even better. When you upgrade today, you'll also get this exclusive Fast Action bonus. Fast Action bonus. High-quality MP3s of the entire video version of the training, valued at $27. Don't have time to watch videos? I'm also providing you with 10 MP3s that you can use while you're on the go. Listen to them in the car, at home, or even at the office. All day, every day. And here's what's really great about this. You don't have to decide anything today. You get a full 30 days to go through the video training and decide if this is really for you. If for any reason or no reason at all you're not 100% satisfied with everything you get inside, simply let me know and I'll refund every penny of your tiny investment. No questions asked. Here's how to get instant access to the video version today. Simply click the link below, enter your information, and you'll get instant access to the entire video training version plus the Fast Action bonus MP3s. But please don't wait. To lock in the discounted pricing, you must grab this right now. In fact, if you close this page, you may never have the opportunity to upgrade to the video version of this ever again at an investment this low. And remember, this special discounted pricing is reserved for existing customers only. Are you ready to make things happen a lot faster? If you prefer to learn by being shown how to do something and you want to get results quickly, this is for you. If you're really serious about becoming a highly successful internet marketer, this is for you. And if you're one of those people that's a visual learner, you need this. Here's to becoming the most productive you that you can be. Remember, if you close this page, you may never see this again at such a low investment. There's no risk. Try this out for 30 days and then decide if this is for you. It doesn't get any easier than that. Introduction. Internet marketing can mean a lot of things. For some, internet marketing is practically synonymous with affiliate marketing. This is the process of selling products made by other people in order to earn commission. But internet marketing can be more than that too. Of course, internet marketing can mean building a website or a blog, building a massive audience for that platform, and then making money from adverts, Google AdSense for instance, or selling your own products. Internet marketing might mean selling a digital product such as an ebook or an online course. Internet marketing might mean selling something physical. Internet marketing may mean promoting a website as the end in itself, simply building a channel so that you can spread the word about something that's important to you, or so that you can try to promote yourself to grow your own career. I recently spoke to a group of creative writers and explained to them how learning the basics of marketing on the web could allow them to promote themselves and find publishers. And of course, internet marketing might mean marketing an existing business in order to gain more customers and make more sales. Any small business should be interested in marketing themselves online. The fact of the matter is, internet marketing means getting the word out on the web, and it means creating brilliant content. And if you can do either or both of those things, then you can make the web work for you. Once you do that, then pretty much anything is possible. Literally. We'll see later in this training how the ability to work online can allow pretty much any of your wildest dreams and plans to come true. Whether that means earning a passive income and traveling the world, or whether it means growing a massive business or working on projects that you are truly passionate about and getting paid for it. The only problem is that very few people have any idea what makes the web tick. People tell me they want to start their own business selling crafts, or they tell me that they want to start blogging for fun, but they have zero clue what that entails. What is SEO? What is marketing? If you're sitting there smugly thinking that you already know the basics of internet marketing, then time for a reality check. Because even if you know the basics of internet marketing, there's a good chance that you don't have all of the advanced skills you need to really make any project into a success. In this training, then, I'm going to start by outlining those basics. I'm going to teach you Internet Marketing 101. For those of you with no prior experience, this is what makes a web tick. This is your bread and butter. But from there, I'm then going to dive into the much more advanced stuff that many internet marketing gurus in reality have no idea about whatsoever. You will learn skills here that will put you head and shoulders above the competition. You will learn tools that will make you immensely employable, to the point that you are never without work. And you'll be able to turn any idea or concept into a reality. What makes a web go around? When I tell people that I work online, the reaction I very often get is bafflement. Countless people have admitted to me at one point or another that they have no idea what I do for a living. In fact, my grandma once made me promise to her that whatever I did was not illegal. When I left university and started working for myself, everyone expected me to fail. They all asked, "When are you going to get a proper job?" A little offensive? Sure, but it's understandable. After all, it's not at all obvious from an outsider's perspective how money gets made on the web. How can you earn money online while sitting at home? How do websites earn money even if no products actually change hands? This is the part some of you will already know, but it bears repeating for those that don't. Essentially then, money is made online thanks to views. The more people view a website or an article, the more opportunity there is to make money. And this is possible partly thanks to advertising and partly thanks to sales. If you have a website that is getting several 100,000 views per day, then you will have the option of placing Google ads on it. These are adverts that are automatically generated by Google's partners and which you will then place on your website. Each time the ad is clicked, Google earns some money, and a portion of that revenue is split with you. Well, this might sound strange. The reality is that those people are likely going to head to that other website and then spend more money. For instance, if an insurance company is paying for clicks on your website, chances are that the visitors it gains from this will buy at least some insurance, and thus they'll earn more money than they spend in the long term. And don't get it twisted. You'll only earn a few cents per click in most cases. So you really need hundreds of thousands of views for a website to be profitable through this process alone. If you're still struggling to get your head around this, then the best comparison to make is with free papers and magazines that you might have seen being handed outside your local train station. Those free magazines cost money to print, and they're being given away. But the customer in this case is not the person reading the magazine. The customer is the advertiser, and the magazine has value to the advertiser because it has such a wide exposure. The more eyeballs that see that paper or magazine, the more the advertiser can potentially stand to earn by placing their adverts there. This is how a website works too. Better than Google AdSense. But don't rely on Google Ads to make money from a website, because that puts you right at the bottom of the food chain. Remember, the advertisers are only willing to pay for clicks because they have more effective means of monetizing those visitors. They're making more per visitor than they are paying Google, and they're only getting a small amount of that. So right now, you're really not earning huge amounts of cash compared with what you could be earning. So another way you might monetize your website is by selling something. For many businesses, this is already built in, as it were. If your website exists to support an existing pizzeria, hairdresser, massage salon, or anything else, then you are ultimately going to be earning money from the visitors by promoting your brand and encouraging people to visit your store in person. You can also set up a product or service after the fact. In this case, your website might promote your SEO services. More on that in a moment. It might promote your digital ebook that you are selling. It might promote an online course, or it might even promote a physical product. This way, you are now keeping 100% of the profit. Sure, you might have some overhead with printing costs and delivery, but you aren't sharing your cash with anyone else. And finally, you might be able to sell a service. For instance, if you are a good writer, then you can simply create a website, get lots of people to look at it, and then promote your writing service at X amount per 100 words. Likewise, for web design, photography, video editing, proofreading, the options are endless. And this is just another way you can get pretty much any job you like by having the skill and knowing how to navigate the web. And then there's affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing means that you are selling products other than your own. These products are things that another creator has built, often things like ebooks, which are offering commission. You sign up and are given a link called an affiliate URL. You then promote this link, and anyone who clicks on it will be taken to the product page via another website. That intermediary website will leave a cookie on the user's computer before sending them on, allowing the store to recognize that you sent them. Now, if they buy the product, you get a fraction of the purchase. This is often much higher than the amount of money you would get from an advert, and can range from a few percent in the case of Amazon products to a whopping 50, 70, or even 90%. Why would a creator be willing to give away so much of their income? Well, look at it this way. They are already selling the product themselves. Any sales you make will not take away from those sales. Therefore, any additional sales that their affiliates and partners make will simply mean more income for them. The more generous they are with their commission, the more affiliate marketers they will be able to attract, and eventually, this can lead to them having a legion of marketers, all promoting products on their behalf. And in some cases, these marketers might not help them to make sales, but they'll still be giving them free exposure and improving their brand awareness, etc. So the sellers have a lot to gain this way, and so do you. Through all these systems, then, a lot of money is to be made through internet marketing. If you can do all that, then you can stand to earn a lot of money for yourself by promoting products, services, and affiliate deals. But at the same time, you'll also be highly valuable to businesses that need someone to run their marketing campaigns and help them reach a wide audience. But good internet marketing means not only getting as many viewers on your website as possible, but also making sure that those viewers are truly engaged and that they are fans of what you do. It's one thing to be able to reach your audience. It's a different thing to be able to persuade them. How to do it. Internet marketing. Okay, so now you know why internet marketing is a big deal and how it can help you to make money, find a job, or live your dreams. So now it's time you learn the fundamentals of how to actually get involved. And to that end, the first thing you should probably learn is SEO. Search Engine Optimization. SEO is Search Engine Optimization. This means optimizing a website, an article, or both for the search engines. The fact of the matter is that Google pretty much runs the web. If someone wants to find information, if someone wants entertainment, if someone wants anything on the web, they will probably start by checking Google. Then they do a search for that thing they want. Let's say they want to buy a hat. They'll probably search for buy hats online. If you are at the top of those results, then you'll make lots of sales. If you aren't, then you probably won't. Thus, what Google says goes. Thus, Google is king. And thus, the world needs SEO. This is how you go about building content and designing a page in such a way that it will be guaranteed to show up at the top of a specific search. And this means by identifying the keyword or phrase that you want, This is the phrase that you think people will search when they're looking for content or information like yours. Once you've identified that, you can then begin to use that key phrase in your content. The way Google works is by using programs called bots or spiders. These trawl the web and automatically index pages in a massive database for Google. Then, when someone searches for something, Google checks the database and looks for the most relevant content. It used to be that the easiest way to come across as relevant for Google's sake was to simply lace your content with as many repetitions of the key phrase as possible. Now, this way, Google spiders could see that the content you wrote and the thing the person searched were related. And this way, you would show up at the top of the searches. Now, once upon a time, this was all it took. Now, once upon a time, this was incredibly easy. And the more times you repeated the phrase, the better your chances of appearing at the top would be. The only problem was that this made the web incredibly easy to manipulate, and it led to people abusing the system and putting out low-quality content. This led to websites writing things like, "Welcome to the Best Buy Hats online shop, where you can buy hats online. Buy hats online for your mom. Buy hats online for your dad." Google stamped out this kind of behavior by using algorithm updates that would penalize abuses of the system and that would favor good quality content. Now, Google recommends that you only include keywords using a 1 to 2% density. That means that for every 100 words, only one of them should be a keyword. Likewise, Google also wants to see you using LSI, latent semantic indexing. That means that you should write posting content with synonyms, related language, and natural language around the subject. Google also likes to see longer content, 800 to 1800 words. It likes to see new and relevant content, and it likes to see websites that are being updated and well maintained. Google also now looks at bounce rates, meaning that it can tell how long someone has been on a web page and if they tend to leave after the first couple of seconds. Then that website isn't going to perform well in searches. Using all these newer methods, Google can now favor content that is genuinely high quality and that answers the user's questions. In Google's case, the customer is the user, and that's who Google wants to please. So while you should write with SEO in mind, you should also make sure that your content is great quality for the user. More on this in a moment. Other things you can do for your SEO including adding keywords in key places, such as the opening paragraph and the title, such as the file names, the names of your images, for example, and the meta descriptions and other tags. The other big cornerstone of good SEO is getting links on other websites. Google views links on other sites as being referrals, and so if you can get a link from a top website, that will do an awful lot to build trust and authority in Google's eyes. Got a link from the BBC? Then anything you post subsequently will much more easily get to the top of Google. That said, smaller links elsewhere are also useful. And note that links are how the spiders find your content in the first place. Google again doesn't want you to manipulate the search engines or to try and trick them, and so it wants to see a link's profile that's natural and organic, as though everyone at once just decided to share your content because it was so brilliant and you had nothing to do with it. This means you should have a varied range of links in terms of the quality and even the wording. Using links that are on relevant sites is a good idea for reaching the right SERPs, industry lingo for search engine result pages, and for reaching the right audience, however. Avoid trying to pay for links, because this can get your site badly penalized or even de-indexed by Google. All of this is going to help your site to get seen, and if you post regularly and keep looking for popular topics, then you should gradually begin to grow an audience. In theory, more marketing strategies, SMO, and more. While this is a decent strategy, though, it is also very slow and certainly not guaranteed. It is not therefore recommended that most businesses and brands rely solely on searches for their traffic. Instead, it is also a good idea to be more proactive in your promotional activities by getting out there and reaching out to your audience. For instance, you can do this with PPC. This is pay-per-click advertising, which is a form of paid marketing where you only get charged when someone clicks on the ad. We won't be going into great depth on that here, but suffice to say that this is worth looking into and a skill that you should add to your bow. More fundamental is SMO, or social media optimization. In other words, You need to get out there onto Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, along with the others like Google Plus and Pinterest. And you need to start marketing yourself. That means you need to post regular content and build a following. Invite people to follow you and ask them to share and like your posts so that their networks see them too. You can also seek out forums, social media communities, subreddits, and more places where people might appreciate your content and where your target audience is likely to be spending its time. There are many more tricks you can use to get the word out about a brand or website too. One of the most powerful and effective is something called influencer marketing. This means that you look for someone on the web who is an influencer, someone who has a large following already, and who can help you reach that large audience. You then message them and find some kind of trade that you can do. For example, you can let them post something to your audience in exchange for posting to their audience. That way, you will both gain some of each other's subscribers. There's much more to internet marketing. Building a mailing list of your top fans is a very good idea, for instance, as is guest posting and writing blog posts for other sites. At the end of the day, it comes down to strategy. You want to gain the attention of real followers, and at the same time, you want to encourage Google to pick up your content and add it to its index. The power of great content. What all this should really teach you, though, is that the internet is practically built on content, and in particular, it is built on written content. That's because a person who uses Google is usually looking for information or entertainment, and mostly this is delivered through the written word. Filling your site with lots of content means that it will have a higher chance of including those crucial keywords that Google is looking for. And at the same time, filling your site with content will give you something you can share on social media, and that will entice people to visit your site. More than anything, though, adding lots of great content to your website over time is all about building long-term fans and followers. Think about the sites that you go to regularly and why you go there. Chances are that you go to them because you have learned that they create the kind of content that you enjoy reading. And not only does this mean you keep coming back, continuously creating more opportunities for the site owner and the advertisers to try to sell to you, but it also means you will probably come to trust the content creator. You'll have read so many posts by them on the subject matter that they are an expert in that you'll have learned that you can rely on their knowledge. And then guess who you go to when you want more information. I enjoy using my camera for a bit of amateur photography every now and then. And so in my spare time, I watch a guy on YouTube and read his blog where he shares lots of tips on how to take better photos. The posts are really fascinating because they show how the right change of angle, lighting, or equipment can really transform a photo into something much more dynamic and much more engaging. So guess where I went when I needed new photography for my website? I went to the guy whose expertise I'd been reading about on a weekly basis. This is the true power of what is known as content marketing. It facilitates other forms of marketing, yes, but more important than that is that it allows you to build more trust and authority in your niche, and to build a legion of truly loyal and engaged followers. And that's why the most important skill you will learn to work well online is writing. How to write for the web. Good writing can be explained fairly simply. Good writing means that you are communicating efficiently. Writing, like anything else, has a purpose, whether that is to teach, entertain, or inform. At any rate, there is a crux that you need to convey, and this is the purpose of what you've written. A very straightforward way to judge a piece of writing, then, is to simply ask how well it performs that job. Efficient writing means that your visitors will need to invest less time into reading, but will still get the most information and value possible. This is why it is a mistake to use flowery or flamboyant language most of the time. This is particularly true when writing for business, where the temptation might be to use jargon or big, clever terms. I once worked with a company that was trying to sell an EPOS system, but rather than focusing on conveying what that was or why it was useful for small businesses, all the brand wanted to do was show off with words like cloud-enabled, synergy, and strategy. This was meaningless. It wasted the visitor's time, and it meant most people would leave without reading more, let alone buying. On the other hand, if you can quickly and effectively communicate what it is you want to say, then you will find that people stick around and that very often they are eager to buy from you. This is also true with writing designed to be informative or entertaining, especially in an age when everyone is in a rush and few people have time to stick around long enough to read a whole passage of text. This is also why it is a good idea to use the right structure and layout for your content. Specifically, you need to break it up with lots of images. You need to use lots of different paragraphs, and you need clear and bold headers. Make your content skimmable. So does that mean your content is going to be forever light and fluffy? Or that it will simply be functional and personalityless? No. Firstly, you can use your broader vocabulary, but only where it serves a purpose. This should A. Provide some additional detail or subtext or subtly alter the tone of what you're saying. Or B. Allow you to say more with fewer words. What's more is that you certainly can be very deep and well-researched with what you're saying and with what you're writing. In fact, this is incredibly important if you want your content to do well. The best kind of content is content that Google calls resource posts. Resource posts are highly comprehensive and detailed discussions on a certain topic. These posts have a lot of value because they provide a source where an audience can learn all about one topic. These are highly shareable on social media because they let someone teach another person by sharing a single link. And they also do very well in terms of SEO because a long, in-depth 1,800-word post will have a lot of natural keywords and long-tail keywords, strange phrases that occasionally get typed into Google but which aren't really worth ranking for specifically. Making sure that your content has value is very important in general. In fact, this is the only way that you can do this. Another way that you can make sure your content is valuable is to give it something that is unique, to give it a USP. The biggest mistake I see with articles and blog posts online is to repeat a subject matter that has been done 1,000 times before, while adding nothing new to the table. These include posts like how to get abs or top SEO mistakes. This is derivative and dull. Instead, you should post something that is new and that is unique. This should be something that people won't have seen before and that will really stand out to them. For instance, how about a post that combines two unusual niches? A post that uncovers some interesting brand new scientific research that's relevant to your niche, or a post that looks back in time to some old forgotten technique. Your content should have an emotional hook, and it should offer something that your audience won't find elsewhere and won't have been read 1,000 times before. One more massive tip, write in a narrative format wherever possible. That means you should be aiming to write content that is phrased in a way that is naturally like a story. Think about something personal you can say about the matter, or just try to give it a beginning, a middle, and an end. Stories work wonders because the human brain has naturally evolved to enjoy stories. We've been listening to stories for thousands of years, and we can't help but to put ourselves in the story, and thereby relate and emote. This makes it very hard to stop listening to a story before the end, and it makes it very easy for us to get caught up in a narrative and stirred by it. Stories hold attention, but they are also highly persuasive. Speaking of which, the power of persuasive writing. If there's one kind of writing you should try to hone, it is persuasive writing. If you find yourself being hired by brands online, then there is a good chance a lot of them will want you to write sales pitches for them. At the same time, knowing how to write persuasively will also allow you to sell your own goods and your own services. When I started working online, I ran a small writing business. I only ever posted a couple of ads, and I got enough business from those to keep me going for years. Why? Because the ad was so well written. The key is to understand the value proposition. More fundamentally still, the key is to recognize that people place orders based on their emotions and not based on logic. In other words, someone will buy from you because they feel emotionally compelled to do so, and they didn't have time to think themselves out of it. So, you need to make sure that your pitch is something that can get people to imagine what life would be like after they've hired you. That means painting an image that will have an emotional response. In the example of selling writing, you might talk about how you can help someone to turn the brand they created into something that is as well respected as the top brands on the web. They can hire someone who will charge very little, but will make their site look amateurish. Or they can hire you, and they can enjoy achieving their business goals. Likewise, if you are selling a fitness product, then the dream or the value proposition is to have abs, to feel confident and sexy, and to meet members of the opposite sex. That's why a great pitch might talk about how you went from being out of shape to being a physical specimen, very happy now with your beautiful wife or husband. Just as emotion motivates, though, it is also emotion that will put people off by buying in some cases. More specifically, people tend to get put off by risk and worry. Humans are actually more motivated by risk than they are by reward, which is to say they normally play it safe. That's why You need to do everything possible to ease their concerns. That means offering money-back guarantees. It means offering social proof, testimonials, and it means offering evidence and proof. That might mean your portfolio of work, or it might mean showing how your promise is different from others. Finally, you then cement the deal by getting the reader or listener to act quickly. People are more likely to act on emotion when they act quickly. So if you can work them into a fever pitch by saying you have limited stock or by introducing a limited time offer, then this will result in more sales. Branding done right. If you learn to write in this way so that you are offering real value with a unique selling point and angle, and with a dream and a vision, then you will stand out from the crowd and 99% of the other brands online. Why is that? Because 99% of brands online just don't care. I've worked with a whole lot of them, and so often I see the same thing time and again. A client comes along to order some work, and they show me their website. Their website doesn't have a brand. The name of their website is the keyword getgreatabs.com. They don't believe me when I tell them about the 1% LSI, the keyword density, and the organic-looking links. Rather, they just want that keyword repeated as often as possible. They ask for generic titles for their content: best diet for abs, top sit-up exercises, how to lose belly fat. They clearly don't know about the niche they're in. They don't care, and they don't have anything new to say. And as a result, they fill their site with tired, generic, and derivative content that is stuffed with keywords and all tied together in an uninspiring brand. Most of them don't even have a logo, and the ones that do either made it themselves in MS Paint or they paid the lowest amount possible to get something really cliche like a light bulb or a globe with an arrow moving around it. Then they tell people to follow them on Facebook, where they post repeatedly about, check out my new ebook here. They have nothing interesting or new to say. They've done their research, they know the keywords, and they know that this is a good niche to be in. But they don't understand the niche. They have no heart, and so they are destined for failure. Worst of all, they have no skill. Now, take a look at the sites you already read on a daily basis. Take a look at your favorite blogs and vlogs. What are they like? Chances are that they have a clear mission statement and brand. They aren't for everyone, but they have a legion of loyal fans. They have a cool logo, and that logo instantly communicates what their brand is all about and who should listen. They post content that is interesting and unique. They have a completely different take on the subject, and they write about the highly advanced aspects that most blogs simply don't know about or miss. They might write about cardio acceleration for 30% faster fat loss, or they might write about the role of dopamine in encouraging snacking behavior. In other words, these posts are interesting and unique, and they have personality. They're written by the brand owner themselves in a way that is passionate and interesting. It's storytelling. The site is beautiful and well put together. And there's video. And there's interactive elements. And the images are crisp and high definition. In short, it has high production values. And it looks like something that has had time, money, and love spent on it. If you want to succeed online, really succeed, then that's what you need to build. We've already seen how you can get more in line with this philosophy by writing better content. Now it's time to think about the rest. The site, the graphic design, the video, and more. And in doing so, you're also going to make yourself invaluable to employers and unstoppable as a brand of your own. Building a website. Whether you want to be an affiliate marketer, whether you want to promote your Main Street store online, or whether you want to promote yourself and become a professional singer, you will at some point need to build a website. And at this junction, you have a few options. The worst option is that you pay someone thousands of dollars to make it for you. That's the right idea in terms of investing time and making the effort. But it's the wrong idea because it means that you're spending thousands when actually this is something you can do for yourself very easily and completely for free. If you want a website, then you can have one built in a day that is just as professional as the top sites in the world. Here's how it works. Building a website in a day. Number 1, find hosting. Your first step is to find hosting. Web hosting means that you are finding space on a server. A server, meanwhile, is a large and very fast computer that stays constantly connected to the web, and that lives in a big server room somewhere where it is looked after by a whole lot of people. This server has space on it like any other computer. and you are effectively buying some of that space so that your files can be uploaded and take advantage of that constant connection to the web. Simple. There are lots of different providers and packages, but I recommend checking out something like Bluehost. Here, you should be able to find hosting, including a domain name, the address that someone types in to find your files, for around $10 per month, or even a little less. Choose the most basic package for now. You can always scale up if need be, and choose a URL that will be memorable and that ties in with your brand. Avoid that practice of making your URL your keyword. This is something that Google itself has said it doesn't like to see, and it certainly doesn't inspire much confidence in users. Number 2, install WordPress. The next thing you're going to do is to install WordPress. WordPress is a CMS, which stands for Content Management System. This is a tool that you can use to upload new posts to your website, to edit existing posts, and to change the design, layout, and more. This means that you don't need to do any coding at all. But the best part is that it is completely free. Actually, that's not the best part. The best part is that it is highly professional. Far from being a website builder, this is the tool that is used to build a quarter of the websites on the net. And that includes some of the biggest brands out there like BBC America, Forbes, Huffington Post, Mashable, you name it. There's simply no need to pay for a limiting service like Wix. What's more is that WordPress will allow you to benefit from the huge community of developers, meaning you can download additional features and design elements for free to completely change the look, layout, and functionality with just a click. And as though all this wasn't enough, you can even install WordPress itself with a single click using the majority of hosting providers. There's simply no reason not to use WordPress. Most of the tools you'll encounter and want to use, from e-commerce tools to SEO optimization to widgets, will be designed for WordPress. And not only that, but seeing as WordPress powers some of the biggest sites on the internet, you know that it is least possible to achieve this success with WordPress. You know that it is SEO friendly, for instance. And that means that you can just concentrate on creating fantastic content and not worry about the rest. Number 3, add a new theme. The next thing you should do, in fact, is to head over to a site called ThemeForest, or one like it. Here, you can browse a large selection of professional and modern-looking themes and then download them to install. WordPress actually has a built-in theme store, and you can check there for a wide range of different free themes. Problem is, you tend to run into these free options a fair bit while browsing the web, and they understandably aren't quite as slick as many of the paid ones. That's why my advice is generally to pay and get something slightly more professional and slightly more polished. Once you find the one you like, it's simply a matter of downloading it and then uploading the zip file to WordPress. Number 4, customization. It's similarly easy to add plugins, which are small apps that run on your website either behind the scenes or front and center. These can include things like social media buttons to integrate your SMO, or they can include security features. Install a few of these and then find the customization tools in the WP login in order to set up how you want the site to look, the name, the copyright notice, and the rest. That's really all you need to do to make an amazing website, and then it's a matter of adding a stellar logo. Creating logos and more graphic design. Using your new web design skills, you can now build a site for yourself or for clients. But the other part of web design is the design bit. And in fact, this is another highly in-demand skill that it really pays to learn. You can learn web design, then you can create graphics that will help you sell products, and you can provide another incredible service. Go onto sites like Fiverr, Upwork, People Per Hour, etc., and you can expect to make a lot of money selling these skills. You'll never struggle for work if you can do this, and offer web design and writing services. And working on your own logo is a great place to flex your muscle and learn the ropes. Good logo design. The key to good logo design will be to know your brand and what you want to communicate. The core part of any brand should be the mission statement. This is a statement of intent about what your brand aims to offer and achieve, and how it hopes to do it. It's not just about what you sell, but rather, it's about that extra attention to detail and what sets you apart. A fitness site is one thing, but is this a fitness site about healthy living and good times? Or is this a fitness site about pumping iron and pushing harder? Is it a fitness site that's about bodyweight fitness and cool stunts? Apple isn't just a brand that makes computers. It's a brand that challenges norms and creates stunning products for artistic individuals that want to express themselves. And that's what makes people excited about Apple. Watch Simon Sinek's TED Talk on the Golden Circle. Consider this required watching for all businesses, in fact. You want to be more than just a company. You want to be a movement, something people can get behind, because this will make them want to read your content, follow you on social media, and buy your products all the more. And the job of your logo is to communicate this perfectly. You can do this by thinking up related imagery. Why not create a mood board, a selection of different images that inspire you or that are related to the message you want to put across? Then try combining those images in different and unique ways to see if you can come up with something unique that way. Avoid cliché and try to be objective by surveying people to see if the brand expresses your business correctly. Then go to work making the logo. The tools. The tool you're going to use to create your logo is Adobe Illustrator. This is not negotiable. The reason you need Adobe Illustrator is because this is the industry standard for designers. Adobe Illustrator allows you to create vector files. And what these are files that work based on instructions about geometry, angles, and distances. Vector files tell the computer where to draw lines, what angles those lines should point in, and how long they should be. This means that you can zoom in and all the ratios and angles remain the same. There will be no loss of quality. It also means that the image can be edited at any time by dragging the individual lines, cutting bits off, etc. The opposite is a raster file, a JPEG or PNG. If someone hires you to make them a logo and you make it in Photoshop and give them a JPEG or PNG file, then they will likely laugh in your face. Using Illustrator is not terribly easy, but if you follow some YouTube tutorials, you should be able to grasp the basics. The key is to understand that those lines are what are making up all your images. These can be drawn individually and are called paths. You can then add nodes onto those lines called anchor points and drag those around to lengthen or alter the angle. By drawing multiple paths and having them intersect, you can then select them at the same time and choose to join those lines. Now they become the outline of a shape, and you can fill it or drag it around as a single element. More useful is the Shape tool. This lets you draw squares, polygons, ellipses, and more from scratch. This becomes even more powerful if you use it in conjunction with the free Draw tool and with a Pathfinder window. The Pathfinder allows you to do things like combine two separate shapes into a single one, to cut off, divide sections of a shape, and more. You can also transform your shapes using the Transform option from the top menu, as you might in any other Draw tool. Combine these features together with a little extra watching, and you can start to create some rather complex shapes. What's handy is that any wonky lines will get smoothed out for you, and you'll see guidelines as you drag things to help you find center points or to line up elements that are opposite each other on the screen. Create something unique this way, and then choose a great font from a site like Font Squirrel, and you have your logo. It will look much more professional than anything you would make with any other tool. Tip: note that one of the best ways to ensure your logo design is good is to follow the KISS rule. Keep it simple, stupid. Simple design is generally better than busy design, in fact. And when coming up with elements for your website, try to keep in mind one more mantra. Communicate, don't decorate. This means that you shouldn't add flowery flourishes just for the sake of it. Any additional dialogue or graphical element should be there for a purpose, whether that is to lead the eye through the UX or whether it is to point to something else important. Photography, an underrated web skill. Our aim here is to turn you into the web equivalent of a triple threat. In Hollywood, a triple threat is someone who can dance, sing, and act. Already, you know the basics of marketing. You can write, you can design, and you can build websites. That little bit of extra knowledge puts you head and shoulders above all those webmasters and marketers that just spam the web with derivative content. The next thing to look into learning then is photography. Photography is another skill that can help to elevate a brand to the next level online. And this is in a lot of demand among publishers. That's because photography can be used to accompany a blog post and make it look more engaging and interesting. And it can also be used in order to promote a product and make it look like something that people will be eager to buy. Photography can really help to sell the dream, as we discussed. And this is particularly powerful when used on social accounts such as Instagram, where it can help you to make a massive impact by promoting a certain lifestyle and dream. Learn photography, and you've learned just one more skill that 99% of people who try to make a name for themselves online don't know. And that makes you even more employable and gives you even more of an edge over the competition. The laws of great photography. So what does it take to make incredible photographs? First of all, having a great camera can of course make a big difference. While you shouldn't make the mistake of believing that your success entirely comes down to having the right camera, this will indeed make a big difference. You don't need to spend a fortune. A good place to start is by getting a mirrorless camera that will give you manual controls regarding focus, aperture, etc. The Lumix G7 is a fantastic starting camera, and especially if you combine it with an extra lens such as the f1.7 25mm. This won't set you back more than a few $100s, but the results will be photos that look like they were taken by a professional photographer and video that has an almost movie-like quality. That said, if you were forced to make do with a camera phone, it's still possible to take great photos. Just spend some time thinking about each shot rather than simply pointing your camera directly at whatever is the subject matter and having it the center of the frame. Try to be more original and creative in your photos and ask yourself, what is the story you're trying to tell? What do you want to convey through your images? What emotion are you trying to evoke? How could this shot be made more interesting? A good starting point is to consider not just the foreground, but also the middle ground and the background. This can help you to create a sense of depth, and when done well, this should lead the eye deeper into the picture and create more of a sense of 3D. This is also better for portraying scale. Scale is something else that is important, by the way. Photos of mountains and views often look dull because they don't convey the height or the depth, and that means that they can't portray what it really feels like to be there. To solve this problem, look for additional elements that you can include, such as pebbles and rocks in the foreground, or of course, a person. Likewise, you can use things in the foreground to frame something in a more interesting manner. Leaves around the edge of your photo can help to frame whatever is happening in the middle ground and provide that depth as well as the feeling that you are peeking out at the action that is going on. In these situations, think about the focus too. Do you want to open up the aperture and focus on the foreground? That way you can blur out the background and really make the subject the focus. Or do you want to focus on the background more and blur out the foreground, thereby making sure that the foreground, while decorative, isn't distracting? Or perhaps the foreground and the background are thematically linked. That might mean a pair of shoes thrown off on the floor while someone runs off into the sea in the background. This works well because it tells a story rather than simply showing a static and dull image. Upward angles tend to make something look bigger and thus more important. Downward angles can meanwhile have the opposite effect as you would probably expect. Think as well about the way you set up the shot in terms of the lighting. You'd be surprised how few people even consider lighting, but this is a very important factor. Make sure that the light isn't behind the subject. Ideally, you want a soft light that will hit the subject side on, creating shadows and depth through what is known as Rembrandt lighting. Or how about using brighter light in order to create stark contrast? That might mean having shafts of light coming in through the blinds, for example, and creating a sense of time. Again, it's all about the story you want to tell, and your photos should inform that story. Finally, consider the background and your presentation. If you're taking a photo of yourself working on the computer to demonstrate the laptop lifestyle, then that can be a really great way to subtly promote a product that teaches people to work online. But this will only work effectively as long as the background isn't filled with piles of ironing and washing. Remember, every item tells a story. So think about the story you want to tell and set the scene accordingly. And spend some time reading. You need to learn about the exposure triangle and more in order to become a truly great photographer. Video. Everything that photos can bring to your channel, video can help to bring to your channel even more. Video is firstly highly impactful. When someone sees your video, they will be instantly enraptured and have the urge to watch through to the end. We are psychologically programmed to respond to people talking on screen and to listen, and we find it hard to look away. The fact that you can add music, use gesticulations and facial expressions, all of this really adds to your ability to persuade and convince. And this means you can use video to much more effectively sell a product or an idea. At the same time, though, video is also fantastic for elevating the status of your brand even more. Simply put, creating videos requires skill, and this is something that not everyone has any idea how to accomplish. You'll probably need a fairly decent camera, and you'll need good software like Final Cut Pro or Adobe Premiere, and the knowledge of how to use it. So, if you land on a website and the first thing you see is a glossy video with fantastic production quality, a great voiceover, brilliant camera work, what do you think? You think that it must be made by a business that knows how to make fantastic products and that really cares to invest time, money, and effort into what it does. And for these reasons, you are much more likely to trust or to buy. Finally, video lets you take part in YouTube and vlogging, and that opens up huge doors. A ton of brands that have been long unsuccessful through other attempts at marketing find that they are eventually successful when they start promoting themselves on YouTube. Not only because of all the advantages in terms of engagement and persuasion, but also because of the advantages in terms of reach and competition. Did you know that YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world behind Google? So how do you make great video? Filming. For filming, there are a few things to consider and learn. Firstly, all of the tips regarding lighting and composition that we covered in the last post are still very true here. Another tip is to learn to use a panning head. This is a device that you attach to your tripod and camera, and that will then allow you to slowly pan across different elements. This is ideal for showcasing products, but do be wary of using the same shot over and over again. If that is a risk you are running into, then try using pans that go up and down, or try zooming into the shot gradually. In order to help with lighting, it can be a good idea to purchase a softbox or similar option for creating light artificially. Having more than one light source is also preferable, so if you can purchase two, then that's even better. In a moment, we will talk about editing, and you'll see that you need specific shots for this to work properly. A big tip then is to give yourself some kind of storyboard, or otherwise just have a strong idea of what you want your video to look like before you begin to know what needs to be covered. Collect B-roll if appropriate. This is footage that you can play while you talk about other things. It should be relevant and it should fit for a range of different sections. This will not only help to keep your video dynamic and moving, but it will also be incredibly useful when you need to cover up mistakes. Don't forget the importance of sound. Don't rely on the mic built into your camera, or this will severely undermine the professionalism of the rest of the product. To get around this problem cheaply, just buy yourself a cheap lapel mic and plug it into your smartphone. You can then set that to record and tuck it away in your pocket while you deliver the audio. Finally, set up the grid on your camera if possible, and try to make sure that when you talk on camera, your head and your eyes are in the top third of the screen. Editing. Here is where the real magic happens. The first job in editing is to make sure that everything runs together smoothly, and that you've taken all your footage and removed the stutters and starts. It should all run smoothly. If you want to hide your mistakes and make your content flow like one long video, then you can use B-roll over the portions you've had to cut. Otherwise, you will jump from one position to another quickly. This can also be done to dramatic effect though, and is called a jump cut. You can use this for humor or for intentional brevity and punchiness. Put more in, and that way it will look intentional, and you can get away with more. Otherwise, you can also try setting up more than one angle on the same shot, and cutting between these as you talk to hide cuts and edits. But when cutting between shots of any nature, remember again the storytelling aspect. Your aim is to avoid jarring the user by jumping randomly from one shot to another. When cutting within the same scene, a technique often used is to cut on action. That means you cut during a movement, and you continue the same movement in the next shot. This disguises the edit and makes the footage flow more easily. You can likewise try to link shots based on the subject matter, or you can link shots based on where the user is looking. Use these strategies and look into others, like L-cuts, to take your video game up a level. Then make sure to add a little background music. You can outsource this on a site like Fiverr, and add your logo. Add some bottom thirds and a good opener, and you'll have something that looks immensely professional, and can really build trust and authority. A quick tip for those that are trying to build momentum on their own YouTube channel is to not make your videos too long. This whole process can take a lot of time, and if you want to make consistent uploads, then you shouldn't make your workload any bigger than it has to be. Developing your skills further. Of course, if you really want to enhance your skill set, then it will pay to also learn After Effects. This is the tool that can be used in conjunction with Premiere in order to accomplish all kinds of awesome things, from retro 80s intros to incredible video openers. This will raise your game to the point where you're creating inspiring and completely original work that many creators will boggle at. And this just goes to show that the more skills you choose to add to your repertoire, the more you will grow and the more opportunities will come your way. So what else can you learn? Well, I would highly recommend that you learn to program. Learn to program, and you can rest assured that you will never be without work. Learning to program gives you the ability to build apps and to create far more complex websites. More than that, though, it gives you an area of expertise that is in very high demand and that a lot of people know nothing about. I was recently approached by a company to write content at $2 per word, and the project was several thousand words long. That's right, they were offering thousands of dollars for a couple of articles. This is a difference that comes from knowing any subject matter well. And there's so many jobs for coders on the web that it's unreal. If you learn Java or Python, then people will come hammering on your door. And even if you don't choose to take them up on their offer, creating an app and selling it on mobile is a fantastic form of a digital product. This goes for whatever your area of expertise is. Develop it and turn it into something that you're really a top-level expert in. Want to run a fitness website? Then go and get that personal training degree. It's expensive, but the qualification will make a huge difference to who listens to you and who hires you. Likewise, pretty much any skill you have can be incredibly useful online. Not so hot at writing or design, but great at music? For instance, there is a huge demand for music that people can put on their YouTube videos, or they can use to market in other ways. This is a gig you can sell very effectively on Fiverr. That can also be the nature of your content. Want to be a famous rock star? Then set up a website and a vlog. Put out your music and get noticed, and eventually you might get contacted. And while you're at it, you could also turn that photography skill into something you sell. Stock imagery sells for a lot on the web. Other amazing skills to learn are 3D CAD design, manufacturing. The list goes on. So don't just write content and call yourself a marketer. Learn these skills and become absolutely unstoppable. Then the web is yours.